Hello and welcome to this guide about the 5 best tank heroes in Mobile Legends of Season 21. Today we'll go over 5 great tanks that you might need if you want to increase your win rate. Like always, we'll go over why the heroes are great to use, in which situations you should use them, and on which occasions you might avoid playing the featured heroes. The first tank that definitely needs to be on this list is Tigerio. Tigerio is currently one of the best tanks to play, and there are several reasons for. One of the reasons is that he's able to reset the buff when it just spawns, so the enemy jungler can't take out the monsters fast. He also has one of the best CC skills of all tanks, which is quite important to protect your carry. All of his skills have some kind of slow, stun or knock airborne effect. The most strong skill is of course his ultimate. He is one of the few heroes that's able to center all enemies surrounding him, which can be very helpful in the right team composition, which I'll explain in a bit. The passive of Tigerio is also a great help to get some extra protection from basic attack. He gets stacks by using skills or receiving basic attack, and after gaining 4 stacks, Tigerio is protected from the next basic attack. This can greatly reduce the damage taken when you match up against a team that heavily relies on basic attack. If you're following this channel, you understand why it's important to choose the right hero in the right situation. This is one of the most important factors to increase your win rate. By that being said, let's analyze in which situations Tigerio is a great pick. We know that he's able to center the enemies and has great skills to CC the enemies. When enemies are close to each other, the heroes with area of effect damage will be able to do massive amounts of damage. Therefore, heroes like Beatrix, Carmilla, Exborg, Alpha and Veil are one of the best heroes to have in your team when using Tigerio. We also note that Tigerio can protect himself from basic attacks by his passive. This ability makes him a great choice if the enemy team has several heroes that rely on basic attack, and preferably with high attack speed. When the enemy team picks 3 or more basic attack based heroes like Wenwen, Xylem, Moskov, Leomord or Beatrix, you can increase the chance of winning by picking Tigerio. Like with all heroes, Tigerio has his weaknesses. He is strong against heroes that use basic attack, but his passive loses this value against heroes that don't use basic attack to deal damage. Therefore, he isn't the best pick against heroes like Grandeur, Cyclops, Ruby or Benedetta. Overall, I highly suggest you use Tigerio where your team has high area of effect damage and the enemies rely on basic attack. The next hero is just as old as Tigerio and have been a great pick since it entered the Land of Dawn. This of course is Franco, that's famous of his annoying hooks. Just like Tigerio, this hero can easily reset the blue or red buff, which is just very useful in certain situations. It only takes one right aimed hook to grab an enemy and your team is able to finish it. This is an easy way to start a team fight with 5 versus 4, which is a great advantage. Not only his hook is a strong skill, but the other 2 skills are also great to CC the enemy hero. His second skill can slow the enemies surrounding him, but his ultimate is the true great CC. This skill is able to suppress the enemy for 1.8 seconds. By suppressing a hero, he isn't able to cancel the CC by using a skill or purify, and therefore it's almost impossible to escape from. The 3 skills can be used in a combo to make sure the enemy receives enough CC to provide your allies with an almost certain kill. You can also split it up and grab an enemy, let your team kill it and use his ultimate on another hero. Franco is just a very annoying hero and gets dangerous in the hands of an experienced grabber. There are a few situations where Franco really is a great pick. One of them is when the enemy team just doesn't have very mobile heroes. When you match up against slow heroes or heroes that don't have any escape skill, it gets a lot easier to grab one. Therefore, he is just a perfect pick against heroes like Layla, Eudora, Aurora, Cecilian and Angela. He's also one of the best heroes to reset the buff, so you might pick him against a hero that really relies on the blue buff, like Fanny or Ling. Because you need your team to finish the enemy when you grab the hero to kill it, the heroes with high burst damage will get the task done easily. Heroes like Eudora, Leslie, Aurora, Layla and Harley are one of the best heroes to have in your team. The opposite of his strength is his weakness. So the very mobile heroes have a bigger chance of dodging the hook. Therefore, he might not be the most effective hero against a team with heroes like Esmeralda, Karina, Bossia, Harley and Chang'e. Franco is just a very popular and strong hero in the right hands. It only takes one hook to change the team fight, which makes Franco a very powerful tank. If you don't want to play the OG tanks, maybe the following tank will fit you better. By the way, if any of this information is useful, please hit the like button to support the channel. Glue is a tank that definitely deserves his place in the 5 best tank hero list. He has decent CC skills and is able to protect the carry very well. But best of all, his ultimate lets him jump on an enemy. Meanwhile, he's able to cast skills and he can even change the position of the hero he sits on. This can be a very useful ability in certain situations, which I'll go over in a moment. The small goose that spawns after casting his ultimate can be used to protect your carry. Because a tank's job is to make sure the carry is safe, it's very important you protect him as well as possible. All these small goose can defend the carry from incoming attacks from certain heroes. The CC and great defensive abilities makes him one of the strongest tanks at the moment. He is especially great against heroes that have to come close to deal damage. Therefore, Glue can be the best pick if you match up against multiple fight heroes or tanks or a marksman that has a low basic attack range. This makes it a lot easier to jump on the target so your team can take him out easily. He also goes very well with a team that has a lot of CC heroes. It can be hard to jump on an enemy when they are trying to run, but CC can help you to get his stacks and jump on the target. Therefore, Glue goes well with heroes like Selena, Cho, Carrie, Angela and Estes. A weakness of Glue are the heroes with strong area of effect damage. This way they can erase the small goose in seconds. Be careful against heroes like Fanny, Alpha, Exborg and Esmeralda. If the enemy team doesn't have great area of effect damage, Glue is a decent pick, especially when you time your ultimate right and jump on the enemy carry. But if you need to play a real tanky hero, the next one will definitely be a great pick in a lot of situations. The fourth hero on the list of best tanks is Bossia. Bossia is a very mobile tank, can reduce the healing effects and his passive provides him with reduced damage. This can be very strong in certain situations, which I'll go over in just a moment. Bossia has great mobility and this helps to move quickly towards your allies who need protection. Bossia is one of the best heroes to move quickly through the map, which is very useful ability to have on a tank. Also, the anti-heal effect from his passive, combined with the anti-heal effect from the Dominus Ice, will reduce the healing effect of enemies by 80%. This makes him a perfect hero against enemies that rely on healing. Not only the anti-healing effect of his passive makes Bossia so strong, but also the reduced damage can have a big impact on the chance of winning. If you match up against a normal team, the reduced damage doesn't have such a great effect. But when you match up against 4 or 5 heroes that deal physical or magic damage, this effect gets really powerful. Let's say you match up against Carrie, Uranus, Vil, Guinevere and Cushion. Bossia is the best pick as a tank you can choose. Because 4 of the heroes deal magic damage, you should buy all magic defense items. This will add a big amount of magic defense, and combined with the reduced damage from his passive, he is almost immune to magic damage. That's why you definitely need a full physical and a full magic defense build, so you can switch between those when the enemy team picks too many physical or magic damage based heroes. You can understand that Bossia is the best pick if you match up against a team that heavily relies on healing with heroes like Uranus, Alpha, Ruby or Estes. If the enemy team also has 4 or 5 heroes with physical or magic damage, the chance of losing with Bossia is very small. Bossia goes well with heroes that can slow the enemy. This way he can easily cast his skills to keep the reduced HP effect active. Therefore he goes well with heroes like Nana, Carrie, Angela and Estes. He isn't the best hero if the team don't heavily rely on healing abilities. Also, when the enemy team has 2 physical and 2 magic based heroes, you should build both defense to be effective. In this situation, Bossia is a bit less effective. With that being said, we can conclude that Bossia is really strong in certain situations. I highly suggest you buy this hero to counter several team compositions. The last hero is also quite mobile and is a great pick if you match up against physical damage based heroes or when you play with a friend. This of course is our favorite car hero Johnson. A part of the abilities of Johnson are based on the physical defense of him. This makes him a great pick if the enemy team consists of 3 or more physical damage based heroes. By building physical defense, you can increase the shield of his passive and the damage of his first skill. I also like to choose Johnson when I play with a reliable friend. There are a few heroes that go very well with Johnson, which I'll go over in a second. Another cool thing about this tank is that he doesn't use mana. You can always cast his skills to deal damage or stun the enemy. Johnson has 2 CC skills. By using skill 1 you can stun an enemy from a distance and you can use his ultimate to ride against an enemy to stun them. Combine his ultimate with skill 1 and you can get up to 2 seconds of stun time, which is enough to let your passenger deal a big amount of damage. By casting his ultimate, Johnson reveals his location for 3 seconds. To prevent the enemy from knowing which lane you want to attack, it's a great idea to start by doing 1 round around the base. This way you still have got a bit of surprise factor when attacking an enemy. If you really want to become a pro driver, you should try to avoid the enemy minions so they won't reveal your position. Johnson goes very well with heroes that deal high area of effect burst damage. Therefore I like to pick him when my team has a hero like Odette, Varsa, Beatrix or Bedang. If you stun the enemy well, it gets really easy for those heroes to take out the enemies. Also the less mobile heroes are the most easy one to hit. Johnson goes well against heroes like Iritol, Layla, Bane and Terisla. Also don't forget that you need physical defense to increase the strength of your skills. Therefore use him against a team that relies more on physical damage than magic damage. Johnson isn't only a strong hero, it's also very fun to drive and hit enemies. Don't forget, you shouldn't drink and drive for your own and other safety. This was the list of 5 best tank heroes in Mobile Legends. If there was a 6th, 7th or even 8th hero, who should you include in this list? Let me know in the comment section which hero you miss on this list. If you want to receive more content like this, you can subscribe for free. As always, thank you for watching and I'll be seeing you again in the next guide.